Morning, everybody. I'm actually coming to you from outside on my deck today. It's not very sunny, but I thought I'd come out here anyway because I haven't been outside for a while. But hopefully you have. Yesterday was kind of gross. It rained more than I thought it was going to, and so I didn't get to do anything outside, which was kind of a bummer. Hope all of you are doing well. We're going to continue our lessons here. No worksheet today. You just have to get to listen to a story that I have for you. It's a little bit longer one today, so I'll try to keep it moving. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about making excuses. Some people have an excuse for everything that happens. When they don't keep their word or follow through on things they've promised, they make an excuse rather than admit a weakness or tell the truth. Sometimes you have a reason for doing something you said. I'll start that again. Sometimes you have a reason for doing something you said you wouldn't do, or something you said you would. Maybe you were late to school because your dad's car really wouldn't start. Maybe you missed a piano lesson because your little brother really hurt himself. But constantly making excuses for what you do is a negative action that keeps you from being truly honest with yourself. It also makes it hard for other people to trust you. Trust is to have confidence or faith in someone or something. We feel much better about ourselves when our friends and our families can trust us, and when we can trust ourselves. And so today's story is going to be about making excuses and then having people trust you, okay? And it says, today I will read a story to show you what can happen when you make excuses all the time. And it's called Charlie Rose and the Blue Cat, Summer. The summer of the Blue Cat changed the Martin family's lives in ways none of us anticipated. Charlie Rose was the first to meet Blue Cat and was, I think, most affected by it. We'd been camped at a beach for 2 weeks when it happened. By we, I mean my mom and dad, my two sisters, Becky and Charlie Rose, my little brother Andy, and me, Greg. We slept in 2 big tents, ate outdoors, and pretty much did anything we wanted to the rest of the time. Mom caught up on reading. Dad and I taught Andy to fish. Becky ran all over picking flowers and seashells. Charlie Rose kept busy by being a pest. The morning we went home, the Blue Cat appeared. Not that any of us saw it. There wasn't anything to see. All of our camping stuff was packed and loaded. Dad was barking orders, which we mostly managed to ignore. Just as he had herded us into the van, Mom said, "Charlie Rose, where are your tennis shoes?" Charlie shrugged and looked at her tiny bare feet. She knew Mom would be mad if the shoes were lost. They were brand new pink ones with some scratchy, sticky straps to close them, instead of shoelaces. Suddenly, Charlie's face lit up. "It's not my fault," she said. "The Blue Cat took them." The Blue Cat? Mom was really stopped cold, but Charlie Rose had done it. "Yes," Charlie said sweetly, and crawled over the middle row of seats to the play area she shared with Andy when we were traveling. "The Blue Cat's my friend, but he's awfully careless," she told Mom, and it was clear to all of us that the conversation was closed, or over. If we thought that would be the end of the Blue Cat, we were in for a big surprise. He went home with us that day and stayed all summer and part of the fall. At first, he was fun to have around, but by the time he left in October, all of us were glad to have him go, even Charlie Rose. The Blue Cat, which no one but Charlie ever saw, and I'm not sure she did, was a bigger pest than 16 Charlie Roses put together. He was trouble from day one. Whenever something went wrong, the Blue Cat was behind it. If you asked Charlie, she'd tell you so. "Hey," Dad called up from the bathroom one morning. "Who's been using my razor?" He was mad. We all knew it, especially Charlie Rose. "It's not my fault," she told Mom. "I tried to stop him." Dad stomped into the kitchen, his face covered by a thick shaving cream beard. "Stop who?" he asked. "The Blue Cat, of course," she replied, and ran out of the kitchen into the yard. "He doesn't mind very well," she shouted over her shoulder. One day the Blue Cat played with Mom's makeup and mixed powder with baby oil. The next day he got into Becky's dried flower collection collection and crumbled it into until it looked like herbs Mom uses in salad dressing. He accidentally spilled clothes detergent all over the laundry room floor, and when Charlie Rose tried to help him clean it up with a pail of water and a sponge, well, you can imagine. Slippery suds were everywhere. The blue cat ate my trading card collection I'd been saving for months to trade with Ben Owsley. Charlie Rose was mad, but not at her invisible friend. Your dumb cards made him sick, she told me. It's all your fault. I hate the blue cat, I yelled at her. Anyway, there isn't a cat, blue or pink or purple. You just made him up to take the blame for all the rotten things you do. He is too real, Charlie cried and ran out of the room. After that, something happened that was even stranger than the blue cat's arrival. Mom and Dad started doing things wrong, really wrong. The first time I noticed it was at breakfast one morning. We were all hurrying to leave for school when Charlie Rose came into the kitchen holding a crumpled up blouse and crying, "Mom," she wailed, "there's a big stain on my new blouse. I wanted to wear it today." "Not my fault," Mom said. "The blue cat spilled coffee in the laundry basket. I tried to stop him, but you know how he is." Charlie looked surprised, then confused. "Okay," she said, "I guess you couldn't help it." A couple days later, when she wanted Dad to fix her dollhouse, he told her he couldn't. "It's not my fault, though," he said quickly. "The blue cat lost the screws. I'll have to get some new ones." It's a long story, you guys. You're doing awesome. I got one more page left. It took me a few days to figure out what they were doing, but once I did, I joined right in. When Charlie saw I'd used her jump rope as a pulley to lift up the steps to my treehouse, she nearly exploded. "Hey," I told her, "it's not me. That darn blue cat has been up to his tricks again. I told him you'd be mad, but he didn't seem to care." The last straw came for Charlie Rose one night at dinner when she discovered we'd lost our tickets for the fair. "I don't know what happened," Mom said, sounding genuinely confused. "They were here this morning." "Well, don't blame me," Dad said. "I didn't touch them." Even Becky got into the act. "The blue cat!" she exclaimed. "I'll bet he ate them." Charlie Rose burst into tears. "Stop it!" she sobbed. "There isn't any blue cat. I just made him up. I get blamed for everything around here, and I was tired of it." Mom was the first to speak. "I'm so glad," she said. "I've been waiting for months to hear you say that." Charlie sniffed. "Why?" "Because that blue cat was nothing but a troublemaker," Dad told her. "He changed all of us into people we didn't like very well." "Specifically you," I added. "You know, Charlie, before that dumb cat came to live here, you were a lot more fun. But the cat did something bad to you." "I know," she said. "I didn't like it very well either. It's not much fun to blame things on something that's not real." We all feel better then. I could tell by the way we laughed and talked and teased. "Good riddance to the blue cat," I said, and lifted my glass to a toast. "Good riddance," everyone answered. Then Charlie Rose apologized for having caused so much trouble. "But," she added, "did we really lose the tickets to the fair?" Becky stuck her hand in her jeans pocket and pulled out 6 orange tickets, holding them high for us to see. "I don't know who misplaced them," she said with a grin and a mischievous twinkle in her eye, "but the blue cat gave them to me just before he left." It was a while before we all stopped laughing. Alright, so there's the story of the blue cat. Charlie Rose used a blue cat for everything she did or didn't do. Now this says 3rd graders, but it's for all of you. But as students, we might not have a blue cat, but we have other excuses. Can you think of an excuse that someone might use in each of the following situations? Okay? So there are a couple things I'm going to tell you, and you think of the excuse that maybe they used. It says, Lisa did not meet Jasmine at the show as she had promised. So a girl didn't meet her friend at the show like she had promised. What might be an excuse that she would use? Okay. Here's another one. Ralph was late for lunch 2 days in a row. What excuse do you think Ralph might use? Can you hear the birds? They're kind of loud. Sorry about that. Another one is Jennifer's desk was so messy she couldn't find anything. I'm wondering as I'm reading some of these if some of you are thinking if any of these things have happened to you, because I know they've happened to me, and I've maybe given an excuse for them. Joey promised his mom he would bake treats for Friday's class, and then he didn't bring them. And then the last one is, Samantha hit Allison in the head with a baseball during the big game. I think she might come up with an excuse for that. Probably. Alright, gang. So, we just want to remember we don't want to make excuses for our behavior or things that we do, and we want to be honest and tell the truth about them. And that's kind of what this lesson is getting at, okay? Because when you make excuses for them, it just tells us that you're not telling the truth, alright? And you're not being responsible for your behavior. So just remember those things, okay? When you're at home and when we come back to school, alright? Have a super Thursday, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.